Today we're reflecting on our journey as men.
Today's society, most people, the man gets a bad rap.
One thing that I've had to improve on is learning how to have conversations the right way. Listen to understand, not to reply. All my conversations need to be filled with me controlling my emotions.
One of the things that I've improved as a man, getting clear on my vision and being purpose driven. Because if you have vision, you have clarity on where you're trying to go. And guys, taking action is important, but if you're taking action into the dark, you may perish. And one of the things that I've improved and grown as a man is respecting myself.
If you are not doing what you got to do to take care of your body, there's no way you can say you respect yourself.
You feel good, you play good. You play good, you get paid good.
We are talking about all of the things that we've had to do to improve as men. This is going to be a real, raw, authentic conversation. Let's get exposed. Welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show. I'm the man with the plan, Jeremy Mathis.
I'm Joshua. I'm going to give you the game, Mathis, and welcome to another edition of the Expose and Expand podcast show, where we expose you to the ideas, the strategies, the struggles, the failures, the people, and the experiences that have gotten us from zero to millions.
One of the things that we truly believe is your experiences and conversations with other people can give you permission to do things in your life. And in today's conversation, me and Josh are going to give people a lot of permission to start thinking for themselves, to become the person that they need to become, to remove all of the excuses from their lives, to be the person that you're supposed to be. Today, we're reflecting on our journey as men. At the time this episode airs, we're going to be 33. We're looking back all the way up to the time we was 18. And we're talking about that in today's episode. We are talking about all of the things that we've had to do to improve as men. This is going to be a real, raw, authentic conversation. Let's get exposed.
And guys, as always, man, we greatly appreciate your support. So if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave us a comment. And if you're listening on any of the podcast players, please hit that follow button and leave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it.
Yes, sir. So let's get in right into it.
Yeah, I think too, it's just like you said, how we've improved as men. And this conversation, I think the ladies will be able to walk away with some value from this convo, but this conversation is geared towards men. We're talking to men today and the things that we've grown as men. And during our production meeting, when we was talking about this, this is something that I really, really wanted us to, I guess, take a deep dive into, because in today's society, most people, the man gets a bad rap. The man gets a bad rap. Oh, the man is not doing what he's supposed to do. He's not a father in the house. He's not this. He's not that. So this is a conversation that I'm excited for. So for you, what is like the first thing that you have?
No, even before. So Josh said this conversation, we're talking to the men. Yes, we're talking to the men, but I also, now we're talking to everybody. Because part of what I think society has went left, and men, it's not men not being men, is because women sometimes accept some of the BS. So for me, in the intro, I wanted to help people understand that today we are going to really reflect on our journey and give people permission to either stop accepting BS and becoming better, or really ask themselves questions about, how have I gotten better as an adult? How have I gotten better in all aspects of my life, and just being real with each other. So I want to make sure that everybody understands that this is a conversation for everyone today to just really reflect on how you become better. But like I said, Josh said, we just really focus on manhood. But as I reflected on my life, one thing that I've had to improve on is learning how to have conversations the right way. Meaning, learning to listen, to understand, and not to reply. Learning to control my emotions and not raise my voice. Learning to really know how to have a conversation and be able to take what somebody says, reflect on it, and then in an articulate manner, have a rebuttal or have a response. Being able to have a conversation with somebody and they say something that I don't agree with, and without raising my temper, without flaring up, without being enraged because, oh, this person doesn't agree with me. So I've had to learn that as a man, that everything, all my conversations needs to be filled with understanding. All my conversations need to be filled with me controlling my emotions. So that was one of the things that I've had to improve on as a man from the time I was 18 to where I'm at right now.
What at what point did you realize that that's something that you needed to improve on?
I started to realize it in my early 20s when people close to me would always ask me like, man, you always raise your voice. You always, you always raise your voice. And as I've gotten older, one of the things I wanted to improve on was my communication. I understand that communication is key in life, like key in all areas of your life. So for me, I started to realize nobody ain't gonna listen to me because I raised my voice or increased my tone. I need to be able to have productive conversations that'll be beneficial to the person that I'm speaking with. So at year after year, from the time I would say I was like from 23 all the way up until 30, that's something that I had to work on really, really hard.
So for the person that's listening and they're struggling with the same thing, how do they improve in that area? How do they improve with their communication?
Number one, it starts with awareness. I think you got to be aware. I was aware that every time I had a conversation, I was raising my voice and it was coming with a lot of anger. So I was aware of that. That's the first thing. After you are aware of it, I think you have to start asking yourself and challenging yourself in those moments that is happening to go in the opposite direction. So for me, as opposed to raising my voice, let me just take a deep breath. But also doing some therapy, as we've talked about in previous episodes. For me, it really started with the awareness and then going to therapy to understand where that anger was coming from, how to control it, how to cage it in, and just every time I'm having conversation, exercise the muscle, because it had became a bad habit of just raising my voice all the time and just talking with so much emotion that I had to really rewire my brain and really start to rework that habit to a habit of, let me be calm, let me have a mellow conversation, a typical normal conversation.
Yeah. No, that was good. And like you said, guys, it's the awareness, but then also the intention. The awareness of, hey, here's the issue, but then the intention to say on a daily basis, I'm going to change this habit. I'm going to improve this habit. So for you guys that are struggling with something, again, get aware about it and then be intentional every day with it. So
before you continue, that was great how you just put out those two things with awareness and then being intentional. Because the biggest thing that I didn't even think about that, yes, I was intentional in wanting to fix my problem. I wasn't just making an excuse, oh, this happened and this happened when I was a kid and this and this and this. I took accountability for my actions and I put some intentionality behind it, saying, you know what, I want to fix this. So for whoever's out there, stop making excuses and put some intention behind the things that you want to improve and grow on. Yeah. So my guy, what's the one thing that you've had, the first thing?
One of the things that I've improved on as a man is getting clear on my vision and being purpose driven. And the Bible tells us that the people will perish without vision. And for me, I understand how powerful and important it is to be a man that has vision and to be purpose driven. Because if you have vision, you have clarity on where you're trying to go. If there's purpose behind what it is that you're doing, that's going to drive you and that's going to fuel you, right? So many men are not clear. There's no clarity on their vision, and then they don't have purpose. So that's why they're not living the life that they deserve. That's why they're not living the life, or they're not living up to the standard of which they know they're supposed to be living.
So how did you start? Like, how did you become aware of that, of knowing that I needed to have clarity and vision?
Because my life wasn't changing. It was the same thing over and over. And as I sat down and I reflected and I asked myself, like, why is my life not changing? Why am I not making more money? And then it boiled down to those two things. I wasn't clear on what it is I was after. I was just getting up and just taking action. And guys, taking action is important. But if you're taking action into the dark, if you're taking action into the blind, there's no clear vision or plan behind it, you may perish. So for me, that's what I experienced in my life. But as we've mentioned on several episodes, you and I have not only got better in vision planning and vision casting in our business, but also in our personal life as well. So now I know what I want my life to look like in every area of my life. I'm clear on what that vision is. But then two, I'm getting more clearer on the purpose of why God has me here on this earth. And the way that that's happening is just spending time in prayer, spending time with him. And then also understanding that he's in control of everything. So these things are happening in my life because it's a part of the purpose that he's set for my life.
Got you. So you said you got tired of living the same life and things wasn't changing, and that's when you realized you had to get clear. You had to start meditating and having conversations with God and talking about purpose. All help somebody understand, what does it look like to gain clarity in their life? What does that look like for you?
What do you mean?
To gain clarity, you said I got tired of just going in the same direction, and then I eventually got clarity. What does that look like? How did you get clarity in your life? Is it, help me understand that process? Is it going in a dark room and just sitting down and journaling? Or
For just getting clarity, one for me, it just starts with God and just really allowing Him to set the foundation and set the path of where I should go. So it's sitting down and listening, and I somebody sent me this a while ago, and they said sometimes you being still is more powerful than you taking action. So I had to sit still and allow God to reveal things in my life. So through prayer and through fasting, one, that has allowed the vision to become clear. But then two, when you sit down and you think about the things that you want your life to look like, right? Sit down and audit your life. And what do you want? Okay, what do I want my business to look like? What do I want my family to look like? What do I want my personal life to look like? What do I want my finances to look like? Most people don't even sit down and think about those things. Most people don't know what they want in any area of their life. So if you don't know what it is that you want, you're just shooting in the dark. But once there's clarity, once you sit down and you say, hey, this is what I want my life to look like, and it's clear, you have something that's going to drive you every day.
I like that. Be still. There is so much power in being still, and now I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. But yes, be still. I like that.
I think because a lot of people, we just take action. Yes, guys, taking action is super key and super important. But sometimes you have to be still and allow things to just take place the way that they're supposed to. And then also understanding that the dots may not connect in the future while you're looking into the future, but the dots may connect when you look into the past. Because I look at our life and the things that we've been through, the things that we've experienced, the things that we saw. And when we were going through those tough times, when we was going through having, losing family members, we didn't understand why those things were happening or why they happened. But as we progressed through life, as we got older and we got mature and we started, getting exposed, we started to understand why those things happen.
Yeah. So the train of thought that I lost was when you said be still, and there's power in being still, because when you, like you said, when you were still, you were able to gain clarity. Brandon Bouchard is a high performance coach, and he's somebody that studies high performers, and he wrote a book called High Performance Habits. And he said, man, I've studied thousands of millionaires, some billionaires, and I noticed that they all had these 6 key habits. And the first habit that he said that everyone had was clarity. Was clarity. And that was a breakthrough for me, because like Josh said, when you have clarity, you know where you're going, you know why you're doing what you're doing every day, and you're able to make adjustments. When you know where you're going and you know the direction you're going in, you're able to make adjustments. If you don't know where you're going, you can't make no adjustments. And you, like you said, you just in that hamster wheel, you keep going and doing the same thing over and over and over. But when you have clarity, that's not the case. So good first point. My second thing that I've had to improve on as a man since I turned 18 was not needing and seeking validation. Not needing and seeking validation. I've done a lot of therapy, and through therapy, I've realized that part of why I used to seek validation was just from childhood traumas. And I'm so thankful to my wife, Ashley, because this happened before we got married. This happened early on in our relationship. We was at the movies, and we had saw one of her friends, and it turned into a double date because they sat right next to us, and it just happened sporadically. It didn't happen. That's why I just believe everything happens for a reason. So we watched the movie. Something happens in the movie, and I made a dumb comment. Like somebody's phone went off, and I made a dumb comment. And Ash, knowing me, she saw that it was a comment that I was trying to seek validation from her friends. I never met them. I just wanted to be cool. So the movie's over. We walk into the car with them. We having a conversation. I just made more comments that was showing that I needed that validation. We got in a car, and Ash, and that's why I love her, she challenged me. She was like, why you said some of the stuff you said? I'm like, what you mean? She was like you just, everything you said was you was trying to get their validation. I just don't understand why. I don't get it. And at the moment, old Germ, I'm getting upset. I'm talking, I'm raising my voice. And she was like, you know what? Don't even worry about it, Germ. And I missed that moment to grow. But luckily, I went back and I reflected on it. And I started to realize, like, dang, I do seek a lot of validation. So thank you for helping me understand that, Ash. And the reason why I wanted to tell that story is because you need people in your life that challenge you. But for me, as far as seeking the validation, I had to improve that, because once you do that, you start living your life for other people. And I got tired of living my life for other people as opposed to living for Germ and doing what Germ wants to do and not trying to make someone else happy. So that's the second thing that I've had to improve.
Not seeking validation. What do you think that, because I think that's something that a lot of people struggle with. So why do you think that people seek validation from other people, and how do you overcome it?
We've said this before in another episode. As far as seeking validation, it's just the world that we're raised in. Our parents subconsciously, they make us think about it. Oh, don't wear that to school. What are your friends going to think about you? Oh, don't do this. What are your friends going to think about you? They're training you subconsciously to start thinking about thinking what other people think of them, and other people's perception of them is so important. So number one, it starts sometimes with our parents when they're telling us, oh, don't go out the house looking like that. The world going to think about you a certain way. And then it's also, I think part of it is just sometimes the culture that we're in. Everyone wants to be liked. Everyone wants to be adored. Nobody wants to be the bad guy. Nobody wants to be a villain. So you're seeing that, especially now with social media, it's becoming more out there, more prevalent of being accepted. So growing up, and your parents are telling you to seek validation, a la, hey, if you think about what your friends gonna say, and then you seeing it in society, it becomes ingrained in you. So I think that's how we start to seek validation. As far as how we overcome it, it goes back to what I said, you got to be aware. Ash, in that story, she made me aware. When she challenged me on why I'm seeking it, and I reflected on it, and I realized it was true. And then for me, I just really started to do, part of it was me doing affirmations. I'm that guy. I don't seek validation. I started telling myself I don't do that. And then going to therapy, understanding why I was seeking validation is because I had holes in my shoes in the second grade, and I didn't want to get ranked. I ain't want no boys to foul. I ain't want no boys to take off on me. So it's just those things that are mixed together. But now I've been set free, and I live for myself and my family only.
No, that's great, man. That's a really good point. So my next point, and one of the things that I've improved and grown as a man is respecting myself. Respecting myself. The same respect that I want from other people is I have to give that respect to myself. Understanding that everyone doesn't deserve my time and attention. Understanding that I am him. I am that guy. And living in that as well, because it goes into a little bit of what you were saying, but understanding that I got to respect me. Most men don't respect themselves, and they wonder why they don't live the life that they want to live. They wonder why other people don't respect them, because you're not respecting yourself. So if you don't respect yourself, other people won't.
Give me an example or two of how men don't respect themselves.
One is just their where they're giving their time and the things that they're giving their time and attention to, because the things that you're looking at, the things that you're putting in your head, are the things that are in your subconscious mind, and sometimes those things come to fruition. So respecting myself, meaning that I have to, let me give you another way to look at it. Respecting myself, how do I talk to myself? How do I treat myself? Most people have so much negative self-talk, and they wonder why they can't move forward. They wonder why they can't achieve the goals and the dreams that they set for themselves. But you're always constantly talking negatively to yourself, and then because you talk negatively to yourself, you think it's okay, and then you allow other people to do it to you, and then before you know it, your confidence is low. You're not doing the things that you want to do. You're not making the money that you want to make. So yeah,
that's really good points. Really, really good points as far as respecting yourself.
Because again, like before, like I would just allow anybody to control my time and my calendar. That's not respecting myself. Right. And then because I wasn't respecting myself, because I wasn't in control, it led to a life of turmoil. I mean, I don't want to say turmoil. That's a really aggressive word to use, but it led to a life where I felt like I wasn't in control of my life. Other people was in control of my life, not me. So when you start respecting yourself, those things change.
What was that turning point for you? It was like, man, I'm him, and I'm gonna show him myself some respect.
So it was a few different things. Number one, when there's just like operating in, hey, I'm him. It's just understanding that one, we're made in Genesis 1:26 says we're made in his image. He's a great God. So I need to start operating in that. That's one. Two, I couldn't get the things done that I wanted to get done because I'm giving everybody else what they need. And then I got tired of it. I got tired of the stress. I got tired of the frustration. I got tired of the procrastination and put myself last. So now I put me first and everything. And again, I'm not 100% there yet, but that's something that I'm intentional about. That's something that I'm saying, hey, like this is something that I want to change in my life.
Those are all great points. Another way that I feel as though not only just men, but just people who don't respect themselves is what they put into their bodies. That's a huge thing that people don't understand. Like, you gotta respect your body. And that's something that I just wanted to touch on because I see, in the Western culture in America, we are the most obese continent in the world. And for us, if you are not doing what you got to do to take care of your body, there's no way you can say you respect yourself.
And that's another thing that has to do with respecting yourself, making health a priority. And like you said, not only just what you eat, but working out as well, and just being conscious about it. Because if you working out and you're eating right, it allows you to feel good. You feel good. What is it? You feel good. You play good. You play good. You get paid good. So that relates in so many different ways in your life. But if you're not respecting yourself, if you're just putting trash in your body, you're not working out, all you're doing is destroying your body, and subconsciously you're destroying your confidence. Because I don't care who you are. When you look in the mirror and you look and you love what's looking back at you, that helps build your confidence. And it all starts with those little things, just eating right and working out.
Just so you understand, my guy, because you butchered that. When you look good, you feel good. When you feel good, you play good. When you play good, you get paid good. When you get paid good, you live great.
It sounds the same. It sounds the same.
So guys, the third thing my third and final thing that I want to talk about today that I've had to improve, and my journey as a man is really understanding and respecting the power of energy. So that means three different things. Number one, it means the energy that I bring to the situation, the energy that I put out into the world. Number two, where is my energy focus? Is it focused on things that are not taking me in the direction that I want to go in, or is it taking me in the direction that I want to go in? Or number three, also with energy, is understanding the energy that I'm receiving from other people. Meaning stay away from people with bad energy, people that when they're around you or you're around them, your spirit is not in a good place. So as I've grown as a man, I used to always want to be around everybody. I've always wanted to show love to everybody, and we still do. But I'm being very conscientious and understanding the power of energy in all those three different aspects that I just described.
Give us an example of like how that relates to, I guess, real life, like the energy that you get from other people.
So we're fortunate enough that we have a lot of conversations, and conversations sometimes filled with opportunities. Sometimes conversations filled with challenges that help us grow, and just focusing on the opportunity aspect. Some of the people that have wronged us in the past, if you just some of them didn't always give off good energy. And if I would have focused on that and understood the importance of that, where I am now, I would have realized that if I feel this way now, what am I going to feel like in the future? So if I feel uneasy around somebody, the first conversation, the second conversation, is it going to get better or is it going to get worse? I think you need to be open to opportunities and expose yourself, but also just read that energy. So if you're around somebody and you just always feel uneasy and that energy and that aura is not what you want it to be, recognize that. So that's what it looks like to me in real life. You think about it, just think about some of the people that have wronged us. That energy was, sometimes it was off. So learning from that, but then also just understanding putting out good energy. People reciprocate that. So I want to touch on that. That was the first thing I said, just putting that out. So what you put out, people sometimes they reciprocate that.
No, that's good. That's good. So my last and final point of how I've improved as a man over the years is taking accountability for everything that happens in my life. Stop blaming other people. Stop blaming the environment. Stop blaming your past. Stop blaming whatever. You got to take accountability for everything that happens in your life. And so often, especially the way that we were raised, it was just always, oh, I'm from the hood. Oh, this person did it. And no one took accountability. And when you don't live a life of accountability, you're going to live a life of turmoil. There's going to be a life of suffering because you're not going to own the issues that's happening. For me, once I start owning everything that happened into my life began to change. I began to understand that everything is happening because of my decisions, whether it was right or wrong. Everything that is happening in my life, I have to take accountability for.
Accountability is what we need in today's society. Ash and I, we talk about this all the time. I stress it to the kids that you are accountable for where you are at in your life and no one else. You can't blame, oh, my mama did this, my daddy did that, the world did this and this and this. Everybody goes through things. The reason why you are where you at in your life is because of you and solely you. You cannot blame anyone else. So that is definitely something that not only the men but society we need to understand. It's extreme accountability, and I'm very thankful that you brought that up.
So many people blame other people. Oh, I was late because of traffic. Oh, I was late because this. Oh, I didn't get the work done because of this person. Oh, it's always somebody else and it's never me. And for me, when I used to live that life where it was blaming other people, and it was just, as you look at it, no, you got to take responsibility. Like the example I just gave about traffic. You know when you get up in the morning. We all know that there's traffic in the morning. So that if we know that there's traffic and our normal route without traffic is 30 minutes, we know, okay, we need to leave the house an extra 15 minutes earlier. You get what I'm saying? Or most people that's having these health crises in their lives, whether it's mental health or physical health or anything, you got to take accountability for that. What were you doing that led you to that point? Because it didn't start there. You made bad decision after bad decision after bad decision. Then you want to blame society. You want to blame the environment. You want to blame everybody else. Nah, that was you. And you got to take accountability for that.
I was, yes, on everything except, the mental health. Some people supposedly, I just from the research I've seen, are born with mental health issues. So I don't want to make light of the mental health.
No, I agree.
But as far as like other issues with health outside of mental, yes, I do think like you got to ask yourself what decisions led you to where you are.
I think mental health is definitely, some people can be born with those things, but then also I feel like the way that God designed us as humans, we can overcome anything. And I think sometimes, and again, I'm not discrediting anyone that has real mental health issues, but now society has pushed, I got mental health. Everyone having mental health issues now? Everybody got an issue? It's just like, nah, people just don't want to take accountability. People don't want to take accountability. They're looking for something else to fill that void.
Not only accountability, but just putting in the work to get better. Just put in the work to get better. They would much rather just, oh, this is what it is, as opposed to saying, this is what it is now, but this is what I wanted to be in the future, and I'm going to take the proper steps to work to get to where I want to be. So, no, you're right about that. You're right about that. I think that's something that I think that's something that we definitely need to bring back to Western society, removing the sense of entitlement that we have and putting in accountability to and understanding that where I'm at in my life is all solely because of me and my decisions. Yeah. So, yeah, this has been a very, very good one.
No, for sure.
I don't know about you, but I got a couple more points.
No, let's keep going then.
No, I would say we have to do another part 2 to this.
Okay, and that was going to be the last comment that I wanted to make, guys. These are not the only 3 things that we've improved on as a man. We want to make sure we keep the shows under 30 minutes so you guys can get edified, either on the car ride or in the gym, or if you're sitting around hanging out with your family. So we definitely have more points.
Yeah, so guys, be expecting part 2 next week, because this is something that I definitely want to continue to talk about. I want to continue to be vulnerable, let people know that my struggles, so that they can get permission to look themselves in the mirror and ask themselves, what do I need to get better at? How do I need to grow? How do I need to evolve and change? So we definitely going to have a part 2. Any parting words? That's it.
No, it's just guys, if you're listening to this, make sure, as Jerem just said, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, are you living the life that you want? Are you living the life that you deserve? And if not, be intentional about it. Also, if you're not, if there are things that you know you need to improve on, be intentional about it. Focus on fixing those things so that you can grow and become the person that you're supposed to be and live the life that you deserve.
Guys, we have our gentleman's agreement. I'm not going to say if you got value, because I know you got some value today. Guys, because of the value that we receive, we're asking, share this with people. Expose the world to this, because we believe exposure leads to expansion. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like. If you're listening on the podcast players like Apple or Spotify, hit that follow button and leave us a 5-star, 5 stars. We really appreciate it. Remember, exposure leads to expansion. Peace.
Expose and expand. Peace.